Hey, and welcome back to Hardcore Valheim in the Man Cave. And if you don't already know, I've been slain. So run 3 is officially over, which explains why I'm standing on my bed in my underwear. So I figured I would do a slightly different video, quickly go over what happened, summarize, the mistakes that led to my death, look at them as sort of lessons, I guess, for the next run. And then after that, I'm going to try something different, which is to do a world tour to fill in all the gaps, because I've been a bit behind in the videos. I've got about 40 plus days of gap between the last video and the death. So this video, I'm just going to summarize everything, get everybody caught up, and then maybe discuss what I'll do next. Don't worry, I'm still going to play. I still really like Valheim. Run 4 will happen. So basically, let's go ahead and take a look at my death here. I was ready to go do some swamp exploration. So I headed back towards the first swamp I'd ever entered, which was this one here on the edge of the Black Forest where I found the turnips. But I happened to notice another swamp across the water, and I just thought, well, I'll go sail by it and check it out, because maybe I'll see something from the boat. As I got closer, I actually did see some of those glowing green torches, right? Which I've learned are usually marking the crypts. So that got me a little bit excited. Well, like a moth to a flame, I sort of just thought, wow, I gotta get in there. And I hummed and hawed a little bit, sailing back and forth, and I saw this circular stone structure on the edge of the water. Chat kind of told me, well, that isn't really anything. It's just cosmetic, but I figured I'd take a look at it. So I sailed in kind of closer, and I was planning on jumping off onto that. As I came in, though, one of the many mistakes is on display here is that I see a 2-star skeleton and another skeleton and a leech, and I jump on anyway. And then, as classic me, I fumble my buttons. I get smashed by the skeleton, knocks me back. The leech jumps up out of the water somehow and bites me, and then I'm just instantly deleted. It was over just like that, right? One moment of just complacency, and I'm dead. So many mistakes were made here. Having made better foods, having had poison potions, I didn't use either. I still had Black Forest foods on. Forgot to take the poison resist mead. Right off the bat, that put me at a disadvantage. Not sure that would have made a difference, because a 2-star skeleton was probably going to go and stagger me anyway, and the leech nearly killed me just from the pierce damage. But there were other mistakes, right? First of all, I should have just went back to the swamp I'd already been in. Approached it from land, so I could bail and run away if I needed to. Even if I wanted to explore one from the coast, as soon as I saw that 2-star skeleton and leech, I should have backed off, found another place, or backed up a bit and tried to take out some of them with a bow first. At the time, I didn't realize it was a 1-star leech, but I don't think it really made a difference what it was. Probably would have killed me if it was a no-star leech. Then I get out and fumble my weapons, and instead of pulling out the shield and the mace, I just pull out the shield and then I punch the skeleton, so that didn't do me any good. In a mode that you just can't make mistakes, so that's it, dead. Next, I want to do something different. I've actually loaded up the world in the dev command mode. I've enabled the map so we can see where I went. We'll have a look at my map later compared to the real map. Maybe I'll pull up the one online just so we can kind of overlay them and see what they look like. But I also just wanted to fly around and show everybody all the highlights of this world. A lot of the things, from the beginning, everybody would have seen in the videos, but there's some stuff that's happened in the past, 40 or so days that were undocumented that we can go and take a look at, just to get everyone caught up before we eventually, delete this world and move to run 4. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we're going to put it into flying mode so I can go fly around and show you guys all the areas. So on our map here, you'll see it's kind of crazy, right? The coastal exploration that you have to follow when you're on no map mode. It's quite evident when you see how neat all these paths are. But basically, we're here on our little island. We died right there on the edge of the swamp. So everything I'll show you will be up in this direction to the north, because that's where the majority of the rest of everything we've done in this world is. But just know where we died was right there. This is our base. We have our bridge, our raised terrain area with the little hut on the top, which I never finished. Still very open concept, but whatever. It worked pretty well. There's the dock, and for the most part, there was not much else developed around here. I meant to spawn proof the whole shore and everything and never really got around to it. From there, we sail across to our farm island, which is over here. A nice little meadow island area where I have my bees. I grew all the crops. I got some boars trapped down there and a little hut where I can store everything. So that was quite handy. But again, it's not a very long distance, but every time I needed food, I had to do a little travel, so it's not ideal. After that, this is the coast we've sailed down many, many, many times. We have the mountain on the side there that we never bothered to go up and look at yet. We have our attempt at water base 1.0, I guess you'll call it, which turned into just kind of like a dock landmark. This is the river. We'll come back to that in a minute. But moving down along the coast here, this is all the very first Black Forest area that we ever explored in. where a lot of our copper and troll hide and everything and all that came from. There's 2 or 3, I think it's 3 burial chambers in very close proximity in there, so that was quite lucky. Going down along here to Meadows again and K-Nation Station Base, which was our second base in the run. Quite early on. Not much left there at this point, but it was a good little base while it lasted. Out here, we got tons of paths and things as we went back to our original spawn stones. We also have the Ecthyr altar that we fought him right here. Yeah, let's follow this path. This one goes all the way back to the spawn stones. So we're going to head along here, goes through the woods. The spawn stones are up here. There they are, with our 2 boss heads. And from these spawn stones on the very first day, we managed to get down here and find this little island, which has kind of like it had a little pre-built structure that we turned into our own little mini base. So that was our first area. From here, we didn't do much for a while. We went just kind of between the K-Nation station and here, but eventually we sailed around this way and we found that there was a mountain here. There are quite a few black forests and things along the way. These aren't notable really, but you'll see them everywhere. I love to build little, shelters for overnighting on rocks. I do that all over the place. But yeah, over here is where Man Cave Canal is. So now it's kind of cool to be able to see it from space, from up high. It's kind of cool. So what we've realized was there's this fairly good sized Meadows Island there, and I didn't feel like sailing around it. Originally, I think I was mostly worried about hitting ocean biome. So when we came into this little bay, there was a nice little village with lots of raspberries, and I actually went over here and made Man Cave Canal right there. Then I later realized that I could have made a shorter route, so I made another canal, Man Cave Canal 2, right there. And that would get us out to this side where we found another quite large black forest. And originally I had thought, I thought we were going to get around our island here. Turned out not quite to be true, although they are connected, and we'll look at that in a minute. But yeah, this here, we got all the way down. We explored a little bit around this mountain. We thought that mountain was the same mountain from the river originally that I went by the farm island, but it's not. And then we, I think, went down through here. Yeah, this is where there was like a troll cave. Actually, the troll cave's right there. We went into that troll cave and nearly got smushed by a 1-star troll many days ago. And we didn't go too far down there. We didn't continue that way. We sort of searched around for the elder here. Couldn't find him. But as it turns out, it was actually here all along. And we just didn't go far enough. So we had kind of, on the map here, explored all this. Searching, couldn't find it. Had we went a little further, we would have found it. We ended up finding the elder from the other side. If we fly across now, you'll see where our elder arena is. So we did finally kill the elder. Here it is. So I built the walls all around to trap him. And then up here, I tried to build an area to fight him from. I made a mistake though, and I built this too far away. So he actually, although it would be spawned in, it was too far to register. So then I started trying to make a dock out to reach him, and I fell off at one point and nearly died. And I ended up just having to stand sort of in the woods here and shoot him. And it was pretty cheesy. He couldn't really fight back. So that was the uneventful elder fight, but nevertheless, we did beat the elder. This was the outpost we first established once we finally found it. And we actually, because we had found the elder from this side, we explored a whole bunch around here. So I'll just go up to the map here. So this whole coastline, we had to explore. And we did it because originally the Elder Road program, the Elder Road project, which starts like way down here, had started through this. And that's why this part of the map is uncovered. So maybe we'll go fly over it in a minute. But basically we have the Elder Road flying all the way, or going all the way through here. And we hit water. When we hit the water, we just started wandering up the coast. And eventually we did find the elder, and then actually something crazy happened. So we'll recount. I'll go all the way back, and we'll just kind of look at what we found. So there were quite a few perils on that journey. I mean, trolls, for whatever reason, were spawning constantly along this coast. I think we had to fight and kill, at least 5 or 6 in one stream. It was pretty bad. We have little outposts along the way here. There's a couple on rocks, as I always do, like that one. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's a troll lurking around here. Yeah, there's one right there. See, a log troll that literally spawns beside my base. Anyway, we'll get to the point up here where we had the end of the Elder Road where we hit the water. And at the time, I was pretty worried that I was going to have to cross because I thought maybe, oh God, he's over there. But we got lucky and we found another pointing stone kind of close to where we'd found the water. So that told us it was that way, which is what led to this creation of this little raft here. And yet another troll. So we sailed on the raft until we got bored of the raft because it takes forever. Then we walked the rest on foot till we found the actual elder. But coming back to here, this is where the Elder Road ended up hitting the river, I guess. It was around here, I think. Right there where those fires are. So we had not realized at the time, but if you go this way, you actually can get almost right back to our base. there's a river that we'll look at in a minute. But first, we'll just go down Elder Road. So all of this was just kind of quick pathing because I hit meadows. But when we were inside all this, we just ended up leaving trails of fires and things because I didn't have, I guess, the patience really to continue to clear the trees through the road. But basically, we went all the way through all of this. Every time we hit a clearing, it was nice because we could just run through. I think there's one up here where we found, yeah, so there's our little path running through the village, right? And then we get into the Black Forest, which is where actually the Elder Road is. Found another pointing stone there. That helped us out. This is where Elder Road really was, down in here. All of the torches and stuff will be out by now, but it's funny to see how we didn't get very far. Like, that was a lot of work, several days. You can see kind of where the clearings are. We didn't make it very far. We were kind of just going in parallel to the water. There's where my very first copper vein was that I put a circle of walls around because I was so afraid. But yeah, it leads all the way back to here, right down there where it started. And now we're almost back to our weird dock, right? Which is right here. So now you kind of get a sense of how the shape of the island is. But this is the last thing I need to really show is what happened when we realized that this river does cut across. So actually Spawn Island, we weren't on the Spawn Island anymore. There's a small river here that cuts it off from where we ended up being in our base. And this river brings you all the way across to where we just were, pretty much, where the Elder Road had come out. You have to go a little further around this corner, but it's not far at all. Like by boat, you can cut tons and tons of time off the trip. But yes, coming down along here, if you look at the map, brings you right to here, which is where the Elder Road ends. So rather than having to go up here, run all along there, you could just sail through here real quick. And obviously the carve's a lot faster. So that's what we ended up doing. But what happened was after we discovered all this by land and we wanted to go back to the Elder because we didn't have the foods and whatnot to actually fight him at the time, I decided I would sail back. So I went through here. And then of course, as always happens to me, I got caught in a massive storm. So when I was sailing up along here because of the storm and the bad visibility and whatnot, I was not really able to see well and I missed this. So I was supposed to go in there. I didn't. I went this way. So now you can see what happens, right? Rather than going where I was supposed to, which was the Elder, and I would have seen my breadcrumbs along the way, I went this way. And for an entire stream and a half, we were super lost. But you can see we found the trader. And actually, apparently, we also found Hilda, but we didn't realize that because I don't have a map at the time. I didn't have a map, so I never knew that she was there, but that's cool. So we'll just quickly retrace what we found here. Basically, this was just a nightmare for me. I was sailing for a long time. Bad weather. I thought we would die for sure, but we did get very lucky in the sense that we eventually found the trader, which is just over here. In my head, it's not that far, but geez, like I was losing 2-3 days trying to travel because it's just so far and the weather was never in my favor. If I did get the wind, it came with storms and then the waves and stuff would just throw me around. That's one of our outposts. That's about as far as I could make it in a day, here to here. And that's probably with the wind. Started to kind of do what you do when you're lost, right? I started to think, oh, maybe that's a landmark. Okay, I'll just keep going. I think it's going to be right there. When in reality, what I should have done was just stop, retrace my steps. But I pushed on further and further and further. And then I got really confused because up here where Haldor is, like a junction of islands. So we sailed along here. We didn't want to go down that river. Rounded this corner. And as I was coming around here, I saw him. He's over here, the little bubble, and another freaking 1-star troll. So that troll, we did kill it because we were able to go over here into the bubble. So I had found this guy, set up a base. We were safe there. We found out that you can easily cheese all the enemies from inside the bubble. You can just shoot arrows at them and they can't do anything. But then when I thought, okay, cool, we should try to head back because we've obviously gone the wrong way. Instead of coming back and turning this way, I don't know what I was thinking, but I ended up going this way, I think. Yeah, something like that. I went one of these two ways instead of back that way. Got turned around so much. So I actually went all the way around another island. And you can see I did this, I think, twice because I was so confused. But what happened when we were going around this island was we actually ran into plains biome. Like we actually got into it in the water anyway, over here somewhere. This was an entire stream going around in circles. We found a Draugr village that's here. We didn't actually go into. We went around this little, I don't know what the hell we did here. I think we went, turned around, backed up. There's one of our bases. You'll know it's me when you see a little 1x3 hut on a rock. That's my signature. You can tell Man Cave Chris has been here. Maybe this was the plains. Yeah, so there's a small chunk of plains. So we sailed into here. And we had to really quickly get away because I was worried a mosquito would come out or a mosquito would come out and get me. I would say we went between two on the other side. I think it's what it was. There's also swamps everywhere, of course. Jeez, these mountains are big. Wow. There's a cave and stuff. That's cool. Okay, more swamps and plains and... Wow. Oh, there she is. Ha! I don't think we ever would have found that. That's so close to a mountain and stuff. We would have been too scared to go there. That could have been really advantageous, right? Because there's a safety bubble there. I could have lured and killed mountain creatures and even plains things, possibly. Kind of a cool spot with like a mountain ridge running between. That's pretty much what happened. We got lost. We sailed past all this. There was, like I say, there were plains, there were swamps. We went right through the middle. We were super lost. And eventually we did get some help from chat, kind of reminding me that I was going the wrong way after reviewing the footage and whatnot. And we did find our way back, killed the elder, blah, blah, blah. And then basically as soon as we were ready to start swamps, we died. All right, so here's the map online. So we can take a quick look, just, you know, at the whole map, I guess. Basically our spawn here, and our, I guess our first base was on an island somewhere there. Then we came down around here, had the K-Nation station base, sailed down to here. This was probably roughly where our farm island is, and our actual Black Forest island base was there. That's the swamp we died in. That's the one we first explored. We had not made it down around the corner here. Looks like there would have been some plains, but we were nearly at the bottom of the island. Frustrating enough for me to see now, there was an elder not very far from my base. So I don't know why the hell the stone that I found on the base coast here did not point me there, since the other elder is like way over here. So maybe somebody can explain that, but I don't know. Maybe it was because I think I had started this world before updates and stuff, and as you can see, it's obsolete now anyway. But what else? Yeah, we sailed down that river around here, blah blah blah, all the way Haldor. This is the island we went around by accident, where Hildur is. Looks like Yagluth would have been close. Man Cave Canal and stuff was here, and our elder that we did fight. Now, one crazy thing about this world is that I actually could have, in theory, walked all the way to Mistlands. Look at this. I probably could have walked from spawn through a swamp and plains, and I think there's enough to get across here, or if not, a very short boat or swim through all this, and eventually into Mistlands. It was a whole friggin' like nearly all north to south continent, so that's kind of nuts. Yeah, now we'll do a little bit of an overlay of my map with a zoomed in area of this map, just so you can kind of see I was a bit off in my orientation. Not too bad though. I kind of thought my main island was more, I guess, east-west instead of north-south like it actually is, which kind of threw everything off, but it's not too bad. All right, so that's it for the summary. Now, just before I end the video, just quickly discuss my plans for Run 4, which won't start right away, but it won't be too long. Basically, what I've seen in reviewing all the footage in this past experience is that probably somewhere on the order of 1/3 of the entire playtime was spent just riding in boats and storms. So I think the biggest change in the next run will be I'll probably put portals on. I know it sort of takes away a little bit from the hardcore experience, but honestly, I don't think I'll continue to enjoy the game if I spend another 150 days in the same 2 biomes. So the next run, I'd like to move a lot faster. Still have to be careful because I don't want to die a bunch of times over and over and get frustrated for that reason. But I think allowing portals plus the experience I've gained, I should be able to get back to the swamps much faster, you know, maybe over a few streams as opposed to several months. What's your opinions on that? Do you think streaming is still the way to go? I've been enjoying the streams. They're certainly a lot of fun. You know, I'll admit it makes me lean towards streaming more than making videos, which I know some people prefer, but let me know in the comments what you think. What do you want to see in Run 4? Do you like streams? Do you like videos? Any other tips, comments, whatever. Other than that, I think I'll keep all the rules the same. Still have double resources to prevent the grind, and the hardcore presets, the rest of them. Pretty much just leave them as is. I might put fire spread on though, because that's kind of just chaotic and fun. And it'll change the way I build, which I feel like is worth doing because it's going to eventually be the case in the Ashlands anyway, I'm pretty sure, right? So might as well just learn to build around fire spread sooner than later. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.